I received the Medal of Honor for actions on October 25th, 2007 in the Korengal Valley in Afghanistan. I was doing my job. I was doing exactly what everyone else was doing. We were engaging the general populace, letting them know that we're there, we're here to help, we're trying to figure out ways to help them help themselves. And we'd been out for 5 days. We'd already taken a couple casualties in the previous days, and we were seeing some pretty intense firefights. On the 25th was no different. We moved in before the sun went up. We walked for about 2.5 hours and set in. We sat in that spot for 14 hours. We pulled a 360-degree security. We looked through binoculars. We glassed everything. We were scanning, make sure no one takes the high ground on us, and we had friendly forces down below us so we could cover them. I believe there was 18 of us in the group that I was with, and it's crazy for me because it's not crazy for me. It is how it is. It's war, and it's unpredictable, and the only common thing I could say that happens in war is that it's not what you expect. Just know whatever you're thinking, that's not going to happen. It's going to be something else. That night on October 25th, after we sat in that location for 14 hours and we observed everything and we listened and we're quiet and we're not laughing and joking and we're sitting in silence for 14 hours. That's a long time to sit in silence and be awake and actually pay attention to everything. But when it's life and death, it's not that difficult. That's our job. That's what we do. We don't have these side jobs. We are professional soldiers. We walked back. That was, nothing came of what 2nd Platoon was doing down below. We had Apache helicopters up above us, that's a pretty warm and safe feeling you get when you know that they have big guns and they're watching you, and we have big guns and we're watching ourselves. And we'd been in Afghanistan at that point for 4 or 5 months already and done a year before that. So we were all experienced combat soldiers. And, you know, we walked into an ambush, and I think anytime someone runs into an ambush or goes into an ambush, that's how it is, because an ambush is a prepared situation. They set up, and you know, you really don't see them because they had the time to set up. They had the equipment, they had the cover, they had the concealment. And we walked into a near-shape ambush, or a near ambush L-shaped, which is, it's textbook. We would do the same thing. I mean, that's not the war we're fighting right now in Afghanistan. We're trying to do hearts and minds. We're not just going to go out and shoot as many of them as we can, which they will do that to us any given day, anytime they have the chance. And that's what they did that night. I did nothing incredible. I did nothing extraordinary. I did nothing alone. I did what I was trained to do. Our job is to close with and destroy the enemies of the United States. And we all did that. At one point, I ended up running forward, not to do anything heroic, but to fight next to my buddy. I was in charge of 2 guys, and they were doing everything they needed to do. I had no need to guide them or tell them what to do. They had it all under control, so I was able to move forward. And when I moved forward, I was shot once, but it was in the body armor, so didn't go through, no harm, no foul. And there was a lot of chaos, a lot of stuff happening at that time. But I was running forward to be next to Brennan and shoot, and maybe we can push through together. And when I got up to Brennan, he wasn't kind of where I thought he would be, and I moved towards the ambush line. I thought maybe maybe charged it himself. I mean, I have no doubt in my mind that's probably what happened. And I ran towards the ambush line. I saw 3 people, and I didn't understand how. I guess I just assumed that it was Brennan for a second, and I was running forward, and then I realized that it wasn't. Well, Brennan was one of them, but they were carrying him away, and I did what I'm supposed to do. I started shooting, and killed one, and I don't know what happened to the other guy. I hope he died. I grabbed Brennan, and I ran back and started performing first aid on him. I don't know. I did nothing incredible. That's what he would have done for me. That's what anyone would have done for each other. That was the position I was in. I could go there because everyone else was doing everything else. Too often I received too much credit for things. In the Army, that's one thing you can guarantee. You'll never be left alone. They'll never let you do anything alone. And everyone will be right there with you. And that night, everyone was right there with me.